Hello and welcome to Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business, brought to you today by Megapix Media. Joining me is Deborah Yedlin, who is President and CEO of the Calgary Chamber. Thanks for joining us again, Deborah.
Thanks, Mario. Nice to see you.
All right, the Chamber today released its Pathways to Potential document, heading into the municipal election coming up in October. There's 5 points to the pathways, and let's discuss each of them. And first of all, the first one is to attract, retain. Well, actually, let me backtrack for a second. Tell me, first of all, what is the purpose of this Pathways to Potential document, and what we are hoping to achieve with this, and then we'll get into the 5 specifics.
Mario, the purpose of the document really is to elevate the issues that are faced by Calgary business, and really this is aimed at ensuring we have stability and certainty for the business community in Calgary going forward. And we would like this to be elevated in the conversations as people look towards the October municipal election and really understand what the issues are and why they're important. And we'd like to see the candidates speak about some of these issues.
Okay, super then. Okay, the first one, attract, retain, invest in talent. Can you talk a little bit about that and why that's important?
Well, we need to attract, invest, and retain talent because that's the way we diversify our economy. And that is something that, Peter Leahy talked about in the 70s. And we now know that this is something that we have to really turn our minds to. So we've seen some great growth in the innovation space, in the software development space, in the fintech. We've talked about this, fintech, green tech, clean tech, climate tech. But we've seen a lot of companies start to turn their minds to coming to Calgary. Accelerators are coming and helping to underpin that economic diversification. But we need the young folks, we need a new generation of talent to come to Calgary to be part of that diversification. We also need to be able to train those individuals too from the city and from around Alberta to be able to participate in the economy of today and tomorrow. And that means making sure that post-secondaries are adequately funded and they're able to support that training, the training that we need to see happen. And then of course, we want the kids who've gone away to school and perhaps gotten some work experience somewhere else to come back to Calgary, because that's the piece that we're hearing a lot about. Kids, young adults, they've gone away to university, they found jobs elsewhere, they have skills that we could definitely use and be added to what's going on in Calgary, but they're choosing not to come here yet.
Okay, super. The second pathway is rebalance and stabilize property taxes. And we know what an issue this has been in Calgary for the last number of years as business owners have seen their property taxes skyrocket.
And so that's what we have to focus on, is sort of rebalancing that between the residential and the non-residential pieces. And I think the other layer to add to this, of course, is the third pillar is the issue that's happened with the downtown. And the reason why we've seen this imbalance is because we've looked for other ways to add revenue as we've seen the values of property of the towers downtown depreciate, because we haven't seen the same kind of vacancy, we haven't seen the same kind of economic activity. And so, we don't have a lot of levers to raise revenue. And so this has been one of the options that the administration has chosen, which you can understand, but you also don't want to hobble your small businesses, which are such an important part of our Calgary economy. According to Calgary Economic Development, 95% of our economy is powered by small business. So we need to make sure that they're looked after and that they're not faced with onerous tax burdens. Okay,
super. And you did mention the downtown, which is the third pathway, is to reimagine Calgary's downtown. Obviously, the vacancy rate is 30% plus in the downtown core. The further west you go in the downtown, the more of a ghost town it is in terms of vacancy. Why is this important? Why is it important to get a vibrant downtown?
Because it's part of the city. And the core of the city is part of who we are. I think if we start to think about downtown as a neighborhood, so that means people live here, they work here, they have the services they need here, they have green spaces, they have the ability to go to the grocery store, to go to the pharmacy, to find a dry cleaner, they have a clinic, they have a recreation facility. So there are all sorts of pieces that come together to support people living and working downtown. not just during the working hours from 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. I think that's it's a bit of a mind shift But I think that if we do it right, we can get that activity going downtown. And so it isn't a ghost town, that it's a safe place to be after hours. And that we actually, people who, that younger demographic that we talked about, the attracting and retaining talent, they want to see a vibrant downtown. They want to see a place where you can live and you can work, you can walk to work. It's very aligned with their value system. And I think that's really something we have to deliberately continue to focus on. I mean, we are doing that, but it's not going to happen overnight. But I think it's a really important part of who we are as a city and how we diversify and then attract new businesses and new sectors to Calgary.
Okay, the fourth pathway is create an inclusive Calgary. What does that mean?
What it is really is about eliminating barriers. And that is everything from infrastructure to make sure we have the transportation infrastructure to take people to their jobs, to the services they need to access, to make sure that there is affordable housing, to make sure that we have affordable childcare, and also that we have the mental health supports we need that are available to everybody that is needing to seek those services. And so it's a number of different things that we're looking at, of course, from a gender specific perspective. We need to address that childcare piece because we know that the disproportionate number of women were affected by the recession, that they have not gone back into the workforce. And we need to make sure that they're not faced with the choice of going back to work or finding childcare. It should not be an either or conversation. As we often talk about the energy sector, it has to be an and conversation. So we want to make sure that we've got that availability for them because we do have expensive daycare relative to other jurisdictions across the country.
Okay, and the fifth and final pathway to potential is to make it easy to do business in Calgary. I kind of chuckle at this one because, like the property taxes, this is a thing as a business writer, I keep hearing over and over again about the bureaucracy at City Hall and how long it takes for development and building permits and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, and the whole idea is what we call it is transactional friction. Every time you're trying to get something done, there's another hoop you have to jump through or another step that you have to go through instead of just saying, I've got all my stuff, all my papers are in order. I should be able to get this approved in a shorter time frame than I already have the ability to do. And so really what we want to do is continue to make sure that there are processes in place to eliminate whatever barriers they are for businesses looking to expand, change their venues, whatever it is. We need to make sure that whatever barriers exist are eliminated.
Yeah.
Expeditiously.
Well, this is kind of an aside to this, but really related. Over the years, we've seen how much, say, Balzac has grown in Rocky View County, and how many major businesses have gone out there, like with their warehouse and distribution space. We've seen. We're in the middle of seeing the Tsuut'ina Nation and its Taza development. And a lot of that attraction there is A, the cost, and B, is the making it easier to do business because in terms of getting permits and stuff and getting projects going, it takes a lot less time in those areas than it does in the city of Calgary.
Well, and time is money. And people want to they want certainty in terms of how, investing what they want in their businesses. And they don't want to be waiting to have the approvals come for longer periods than is really necessary. And so whether that means looking at different ways to create a space where those specific issues can be resolved very quickly within the administration. I don't know what the structure is, Mario, but there are ways to make things more efficient. And what we really need to do is if we want to be really open for business, we need to make sure that we're as efficient as possible in order to attract those businesses and develop further develop the Calgary economy.
Okay, so where do we go from here now that, Deborah, that you have this platform out? What would you like to see happen now?
Well, what I'd really like to see happen is people, go to our website, calgarychamber.com, Pathways to Prosperity, and see what we have in terms of the fully fleshed out platform, but also engage in the conversation, be part of the mayoral debates that are going to take place. We have one we're holding on the 6th of October. And we want people to at the end of the day, we want everybody to vote. And we want people to vote as informed Calgarians in terms of what the candidates stand for and what's important for the city.
Okay. So the mayor's debate that you will have, is that inclusive of everyone, or,
It's going to be broadcast on Global TV.
yeah?
So it's gonna, the top mayoral candidates will be participating in that.
Okay, but not all of them though.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I was just curious because there's a heck of a lot of them.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's the top 6 candidates, but it's to give everybody an opportunity to see what they have to say about some of the issues that we put forward.
Well, you know what, I applaud you guys for doing this because these are very important issues, and obviously we're at a critical point in Calgary's history, you know, going forward, coming out of the pandemic, fingers crossed, you know, and you know, the oil patch seems to be moving up a little bit, more positive flow there. So we've got the future ahead of us set forward to, right?
We've got it, we are at an inflection point in the city. And I think what's really exciting is the opportunities that we have to build on what we've already got. So when you look at the pathways, the 2050 net zero pathways that were announced by the 5 major oil sands producers, that in and of itself will create, you know, a lot of employment opportunities. It will also create new technologies that can be spun off and be applied in other industries. And it'll also encourage the collaboration between other industries in terms of their need to solve their greenhouse gas emissions challenges. And so there's a lot of exciting things happening here, and we want to make sure that we don't stymie anything and we actually move it forward, and that we tell the world about what's going on in Calgary, because right now we're also not doing a very good job of telling our own story.
Yeah, okay, super then. Thanks very much, Deborah, for joining us again.
Thanks, Mario. It's great to see you.
All right, super. That was Deborah Yedlin, President and CEO of the Calgary Chamber. This has been Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business, brought to you today by Megapix Media. Thanks for joining us.